Alrighty, so we are going to learn how to create a page and create a um, playback bar for an event or a gathering. So I'm going to go over kind of the process behind that and some of the thoughts behind how I do it and why I do it that way, um, so that you guys can also do it and know some of the skip some of the trial by fire parts of this. So in order to build this page out, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to open a few windows. First off, we're going to need a virtual wing so that we can see what we're doing. I want this virtual wing to be down here. I want to open a pages directory so I can see all my pages. And I also want to open a Cuelist directory because I'm going to need to pull Cuelists from somewhere and drop them onto the page. So I like to drag this name column out so that I can read everything that's there. And then I like to sort it. You can right click and select sort. And it will put everything into alphabetical order. Asterisks and numbers go at the top. But then once you get to the A's, everything is in alphabetical order. It makes it so much easier to find things instead of trying to remember what number everything is. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the page for Sunday gatherings for April 27th. So they don't exist yet. What I like to do is have the first like 9-ish pages open to put things for events in. So from the 30th through Easter is in here now. But we're going to add the 27th right after Easter because that'll be following Easter on the calendar. And what we're going to do is we're going to take Sunday 4/6 and use that as a template. You could do Sunday 3:30, but Sunday 3:30 was child dedication, so it's got some tweaks to it. Sunday 4/6 is more of a general Sunday flow. So that's what we're going to use. So I select that. You can see that it comes down to the command line. It says Sunday 4/6. Then I can press the copy key on the console or the P key on the keyboard for a PC. And now it says copy to. Now I have to select where I want it to copy to. So I want it to copy from here, but I want it to put that page here on page 7. So I'll click here or touch there with the touch screen, and you can see it made a copy. So now we're going to rename it. So we can either hit the set key. Oops, accidentally opened the effects engine. We can either hit the set key on the console or the I key on the keyboard, and it now allows you to rename it. So I'm going to delete this copy of, and I'm going to change 4/6 to 4/27. Now we're going to go to page 7. I like to use the keys for that. So page 7, enter. And we can see that we now have the flow. But what we're looking at is songs from the 6th, because that's what we copied over. Praise, name above all names, and who else. We're going to delete those by holding either the D key on the keyboard or the delete key on the console. Tap, tap, and tap, all while holding that key down. Do not let it go. And you can delete all of them. We're going to leave the walk-in because the walk-in list is something that we just always reuse. The sermon list we always reuse. The reprise list we reuse. Next steps we reuse. This is our blank kind of template. We just need to drop new songs in. So, of course, when you're creating for an event, you're going to need to have Planning Center handy so that you know all of the gathering elements and what songs you're doing and what order they need to be in, and if there are any ministry moments or transitions you need to know about. For Sunday 4/27, our set list is Move of God, then Nobody, then Oh Praise the Name. So I'm going to come back over here to the Cuelist directory. I'm going to scroll down. We're going to look for Move of God. And Move of God right here. A lot of the time we have multiple versions. So Just be aware of that and pay attention to which version suits your event the best. This one with just the date on it is kind of the standard version, so that's what we're going to go with. So we can click that. You can see it populated it in the command line, and then we can hit move, the move key on the console, or the M key on the keyboard. It makes it say move to, a lot like copy, and then you just tap the master you want it to move to. So slot number 2 here puts Move of God in as the first song. Then we have to just repeat the process for each song. So we're going to do No Body, which happens to be right here. Select it, move, tap the master it needs to go to, and then we need to pull up our final song, which is Oh Praise the Name, which is not very far down here. So Oh Praise the Name. And again, there are multiple versions. We're not going to use anything with time code. We're not going to use a special Good Friday version of that. We're going to use the standard version of Oh Praise the Name. Drop it in here. All right, so now once we have everything dropped in, we're most of the way there. We don't need the Cuelist directory anymore, but what is handy to see is the master. So this just shows us whichever master we have selected. So when I click on a list and a master, it shows me that. So what I like to do now that we have everything in the order it's supposed to be in, I just like to make sure that everything is set to transition correctly. So we're going to double check our comment macros, which are over here. And basically what you're going to the really big thing to look for is this last one, to make sure that we go from list 1 to list 2. When you get down here, this choose master 2, go master 2 is what you're going to want to see. That's how you know you end up going from 1 to 2. So now we're in Move of God. And then when you get to the end of 2, what follows 2? 3. So that's correct. And then when you get to the end of 3, what follows 3? 4. That's correct. Get to the end of 4. 5 will take us into the sermon nice and smoothly. Sermon take us to 6, which is the reprise. Reprise will take us to 7, which is next steps. And then next steps, being the final element in the gathering, will take us back to 1, which is the walk-in look. So all of our transitions are good. And it looks like everything is flowing correctly. We can also pull up the visualizer just so that we can see. We could have looked at this while we were doing that. But we can just make sure, okay, MC intro, the lights come up, fades down. We have pre-roll, which is great. Everything's nice and smooth. Transition into song 1. The intro happens. All the colors change. Lights are up the way that they should be. Transition again. The macros are working perfectly. Lights are all up when they should be. Nothing weird is happening. We don't have any moments where the band is in the dark that aren't supposed to be that way. We transition to the sermon. Looks good. Reprise. Again, the macros worked correctly. Next steps, and back to the beginning. The reason why it's important to check those macros, aside from just the fact that they need to be set correctly to transition from the one item to the next, is just because sometimes if Move of God wasn't in the second slot the last time we did it, if it was in the third slot, it would have had a 4 in it. So those changes kind of carry through from week to week. So depending on what order the songs are in, they're the things that need those edits the most. But other than that, if you've got all of that and everything is working and your macros are good, then you're good to go. I'm going to have a separate video that gets more in depth on comment macros, since there are a lot of them and they do a lot of different things. But this should be enough to get you through building a basic page for any kind of generic event or even a Sunday. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.